Hello again everyone, Dave Flint from Flint Art Australia coming your way, and we've got another drawing today that we're going to do, which I mentioned in my last video, which was Australian animals that are only unique to this marvellous country that I live in, Australia. Today we're going to be drawing a kangaroo, one of those boing 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 things you see jumping around out in the bush. And no, they do not jump through the streets of cities in Australia. However, on occasion they do pop up. So it's not unheard of, but they do. So again, you won't need much to draw today. All you need is a piece of paper of some sort to draw on, something to draw with, like a Sharpie or a grey lead, something like that, pencil, and then maybe something to colour in with later on. Having said that, let's get drawing our kangaroo and be creative. Okay everyone, now that we've got our supplies ready, we don't need much, like I said. All you need is a pencil or something to draw with. I like to go with the pencil first, just in case I make a mistake and I can erase anything that I need to. And then I will go over it with a Sharpie after that, with a black Sharpie. Then I'll add some colour later on. So, as I said, today we're going to be drawing a unique Australian animal, a kangaroo. So let's get started with that. So first thing that I would like to do is start with the ears, which will be up the top here, the top of the paper. And I'm going to make sure I get this whole kangaroo in, because I'm going to have the feet of the kangaroo right down near the bottom here. So ears be right at the top. Try and use as much of the page as I can to do this drawing. If I've got any other room left over in the background, I will maybe put some background elements in. That's up to you what you do for your background, but I'm just going to show you how to draw a kangaroo. Anyhow, here we go. Let's get started. So first thing I want to do is maybe just draw the top of the head first, around about here, sort of about, or maybe 3/4 away at the top of the page, to leave me a little bit of room here for some ears. So let's do that. I'm going to draw. Now I'm sketching, just going to be sketching a little bit to get the shape right. When I'm happy with the shape, then what I'll do is go over it later with Sharpie, but I like to sketch so I can just change it if I need to. Now I'm going to leave a little space here, so that's the top of the kangaroo's head, and it sort of comes curving down a little bit like that, like this, and then I'm going to leave a little space here because I'm going to have an ear coming out from this, the front of the kangaroo's head on this side of the head. So I'm going to leave a little space just there, and I'm going to have, that's where the ear is going to be joined to the head, and it'll be coming down sort of like this. So in here, that will be one ear, and that's going to come sort of from here going up on an angle and then come back that way, sort of going up there. Now we can play around with what this looks like in a minute, so just sort of try and get the shape right first, back out there and then back in again, okay, to come down onto the kangaroo's head. So something like that anyway, that sort of shape there. To finish that ear off, all I'm going to do is give it a little bit of thickness if you like, and also like the inside of the kangaroo's ear. So we just come up like that, sort of following the same kind of shape, back down like that. And as I said, we can play around with that a little bit later. Let's just get it looking how we want it first. So this here now, the one that's on the other side of the kangaroo's head, I'm going to have that coming down, or going up, sorry, from here, sort of close-ish to this one that we've already drawn. And it can be a little bit different shape, it doesn't really matter. The kangaroos sort of play around with their ears a little bit, you know, have them in different angles and things like that. So you can do a similar thing here with yours. So like that, and coming back down over there, something like that. Now that one we can't see inside because that's facing away from us. So that'll be how we have that one. Next, what I'll do is the nose of the kangaroo, if you like. So that's the forehead part there. And then what I want to do is bring that down, come down like this. So I'm going to go like that. Look, just starting back a little bit further than where I finished that curve. And then that's going to come down like this. So down like that, and then around like that. A rounded end on it. And like I said, you can play around with this. If you're sketching it, you can play around with it. You can rub it out if you're not happy with something. I'll just keep going and see if I'm happy with it or not, and then rub out if I need to. So this is going to come back up a little bit. This is going to form the mouth. So I'm going to have that like that, with a little sort of cheek line there. Something like that. And then what I want to do is add a bit of a nose on that. And that's going to come sort of out like this, straight down, and then a curve like that to give that sort of nose look to it. Now this will be the bottom jaw of the kangaroo, sort of coming down from here. So we need to sort of have a bit of a bottom jaw here, and that's going to come along like that and go up, down and back again a bit like that. You sort of get that kind of shape there, if you know what I mean. And like I said, if you're not completely happy with things, you can rub them out and have another go. That's all good. And you know what, kangaroos all look a little bit different at times, depending on what kind of kangaroo it is too. Whether it's an eastern grey or a great big red. Could even be a smaller species like a wallaby. Now, let's go. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back here to the, actually what we need to do is the eye. Let's do the eye. So we're only doing one eye because the other eye will be on the other side of the head. So I'm going to do an eyebrow first, sort of about there, a bit of an eyebrow. And then the eye, I'm going to do like this. There's going to be a line that sort of follows that as well. Comes down though, that way. Then a circle shape there. And I'm going to do a bit of a little eyelash curl thing on the back there. Just like that. I like to keep a little bit of a reflection in there, so I'm going to put a little circle like that in there, and then I'm going to colour the rest of that eye in with Sharpie later on. Okay, now what I want to do here is come down for the neck, and that's going to sort of curve in and then out again for the chest of the kangaroo, like that. And I'm going to stop right there. So I'm going to have some paws here, and some arms and paws. Next, let's go back over to this side, and what I'm going to do there is follow the back of that head down, how we had it there, and I'm going to bring that in to make up the neck of the kangaroo, and that comes in and curves back out again also, like that. And that is going to be the back of my kangaroo. Now I'm going to need to leave a bit of room here so I can get a bit of a tail coming back up for this kangaroo. Okay, so let's go back over to this side where I want my paws to be. Now I want to have a line coming down. This will be like the top of the shoulder of the kangaroo, coming down like this, sort of like that, and then straight down, and then this line here will be a little bit different. It's going to sort of come down and then up a bit to form the tops of where the wrists sort of hang on a kangaroo. So, and then it's going to come down like that and then back again this way. So that's a sort of a wonky looking line. That might be a bit, you might have to do it a couple of times to get it right. But again, it doesn't make a big huge difference. We're going to know their arms and paws hanging down. So let's go with that. I'm going to bring this paw around this way, sort of like this. Go back up on an angle, then follow the angle of this line coming back this way. And then this one comes back down, it sort of turns and comes back down here like this. And then that'll go back up, it's like the elbow of the kangaroo. And that'll sort of just stop about here somewhere, and you can do a couple of little lines there, to little crease marks, that sort of thing, like that. Now the one on the other side, that's gonna, on the other side of the kangaroo, is just sort of going to follow this shape here, like it's behind the kangaroo, so or behind the paw on that side, and that will just finish up about there, like that. Okay, so here we need to do a bit of a claw line, where there will be a claw in there. You could actually do the whole kangaroo claw situation if you wanted to, but I'm drawing sort of a basic cartoon-like kangaroo, not a koala. We did koala last Australian animal drawing we did. So there's that for the front arms, the upper arms of the kangaroo. Now what we want to do is follow this line back down here, and that's going to give us the, like pretend that that line's coming through there, sort of imagine that was coming through there, and that will give us the shape for the stomach area and the chest, bottom part of the chest. So bring that down, that's going to come down a fair way, that one. So that line there, just continue that, just like that. And then what we're going to do is go into the legs here. So let's do this leg that's on this side of the animal, like we did with the ear on this side. We're going to have this leg here, like this arm here. So this is a pretty big leg, and that will be starting about here somewhere and curving around like this. So maybe a little bit of an odd shape. It's not quite a curve, it's almost a curve. So it'll come around like that. It's got quite a big upper thigh muscle. They do jump very high, don't they? So that sort of shape there that you want there. And then we're going to have the foot of the kangaroo coming off that line. Now that starts back here and sort of comes out. They've got pretty long feet, kangaroos. Comes out like that. So like that sort of shape there. And then let's go to the bottom of the foot here. That'll sort of come in along here like that. And what we'll have is a bit of a toe there. So I'm going to do a bit of a toe with a little curved line like that. Now this sort of needs to come back down and up again. So I've sort of need to rub out a little bit there. You see, when we sketch, it's great because we can rub out pretty easily. And it comes back up like that, a bit of a shape like that. Okay, so what we need to do there now is do a bit of, this will be the back part of the foot, like the heel. So that's going to come up like that, come back in, and then it's going to go back out again to join up with this here. So with this line there, what we want to do is we want to continue that sort of out and bring it back in like that. Okay, now as you can see, I needed to rub out a little bit there, and that's okay because we're not pressing too hard, so it's working well. Okay. Next, what we want to do is this line here that we had. That's sort of just going to stay there because we're going to have that'll end up making up part of the pouch when we draw the little joey in there. This kangaroo is going to have a little baby joey. So let's get that other leg done. So that other leg doesn't quite go up as high as that. It's sort of kind of come out about here, not too far. And so again, that's a bit of a curved shape. Now that curve doesn't have to be perfect either. It can be a little bit bumpy because the kangaroo's leg's quite bony, so they can come down to about here somewhere and then finish there. And then we're going to have the other foot coming out over here, so it looks like the kangaroo's sort of foot is behind the other one. So have it like that, like we had this sort of shape here, coming down and then back again, and we can have like a bit of that toe mark there, a bit of that toe line for the claw, like it's got claws there. Okay, just like sort of like that. And again, if you're not happy with it, rub it out, do it again, make sure you're pressing lightly, and then it's not an issue to get rid of the lines that you've done, and you can continue on. So, tail. Let's get the tail in here. What I want to do, from near the bottom of the foot there, that heel, where we finished the heel off here, I want to draw my line coming out from the sort of halfway into that heel, and I want that going and curving up. I'm going to have, instead of my kangaroo tail being flat because I've got my page in a portrait direction, I don't have the room. If it was landscape, I could have had the tail coming out flat along the ground. But what I want to do here is have the kangaroo's tail going up behind it. And I'm going to do that by doing this. And remember, they've got a very long tail. They use that for balancing when they're jumping, and also to move along when they're just walking along the ground. So that's going to be the tail, and it's quite thin at one end, and then we're going to have it getting thicker as we come down. So you just want to make that quite thicker, quite a bit thicker at the bottom there than it is up near the top. Okay, so that sort of shape there would be good for our kangaroo. Now, I did say this kangaroo was going to have a little joey, a little baby. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to draw a bit of a line here, like this, like that, and just do a curve like this, and then I'm going to draw the little joey's head here. So here we go.
Did you come here or did Dad call you?
Let's just draw this. There's my little joey's head, so that's the pouch area. Sorry about that, guys. My son just got up out of bed. I wanted to see what I was drawing. So here we go. This is the neck area of the little baby joey. So we've got our pouch shape here, and maybe just a little bit big. I might just cut that back a bit. So here's the back of the head of the little joey. It's only a tiny little thing. So that's the back of the head. And then we're going to have an ear coming out backwards this way, going up here. It's like a miniature version of the one that we've done over here. The one at the top there, the big one, the mother kangaroo. And then we're going to have the little head, top of the head there, with a little ear again. This might be just covered a little bit by the arm of the mother kangaroo. Coming down this way. And then this will be the front part of the forehead of the little joey, coming down like this and back down and then around. Now this little joey, as I said, it's a lot smaller than mama, so not real big on the nose like we did up here. And then that's got to sort of come back around that way there, and we will do a little tiny little nose there. A bit harder to see this little one. Fill the inside of the ear in like we did with the mama as well. Now it's going to be really hard when I go over that with Sharpie. And then again the eyebrow, and we're going to do an eye just here, a bit like I did with the mum's eye. Curve like that, following the eyebrow line. Bit of a curve there. There's the eye for the little joey. And then what we need to do, I'm going to have the paws for this joey sticking out of the pouch. So that's why I haven't finished off under here yet for this kangaroo. Now again, remember, if you're not happy with something, rub it out, give it another go. And what I want to do here is do a bit of a paw coming out. So from about here, I'm going to have a line coming up and then curving over the side of the pouch like that. And that'll be like the little paw is hanging out of the pouch, sort of like hanging onto the pouch almost. So, and I'll do the same thing. Not too happy with that actually. Let me just rub that bit out. Yeah. And then another little one hanging out over here. That'll be there. And then sort of the same sort of thing going up and over, touching the other paw there. So that'll be okay. You can tell there's a little joey hanging out there of mama's pouch. You can even have a bit of a outline line there. Looks like you can see little joey's back just there, sort of sticking out through the pouch a bit. Okay, so that, girls and boys, is, or everyone, is a kangaroo, a unique Australian animal.
Flintheart.